So we build up our lives based on what society teaches us is right. And society teaches us what's right is material possessions and things. And society teaches us that happiness comes from satisfaction at work, and from money, and from family, from owning a home, from being, I was going to say from being healthy, but I don't know if our society does teach us that. It's trying to. Prior to us being able to speak or think as a child, we had no idea about these concepts. We had no idea about who we were or what we were, what our name was, what we needed to be, what we had to be, what we had to have. We just were. We were just open to life, just experiencing life, without the knowledge that it was happening to someone, to us, but the functioning still happened. And then as we got more and more intelligent, so as our brain grew, we began to be told that life was happening to us. And we got told our name. So say the name of the baby is Andrew. So he got told, so Andrew got told that he was his name, Andrew. And he kind of got told who he was by his parents interacting him, saying you're a good boy, you're a bad boy, or they like this or they don't like this. And by the way their parents interacted it with Andrew, it kind of grew in Andrew's brain who they were interacting with. The parents kind of taught him he was someone. He was good at certain things. Because it's all subjective, being good at something and not being good at others, being good, being bad. But the parents will have had certain prejudice depending on their upbringing, depending on the way they were taught. So the parents will, the first relationship he has with the parents will kind of install a basic sense of self. And then also through education, going to school, and through the genetics of that particular child, it will kind of begin to develop certain thought processes that inform it that it's somebody that is a particular way, whether it be naughty, whether it be small, whether it be cute, whether it be funny, happy, beautiful, intelligent. And it will kind of find a position of who he is, who Andrew is. And this will form stronger and stronger through time. So in the beginning, Andrew is very loose, and as he grows, he'll become more and more solid and identified. And he'll try things out of who he is and try to be different, then go back to being the same. Trying always to be likable, to fit in, to feel good. Unless it's being taught that it doesn't fit in and that it's bad, then it will try to be that. And then it, on top of that, gets taught what it needs to do in this life, what its mission is in this life. And it gets taught meaning and purpose and destination and future and happiness and what it's got to get. And all these I don't know what they're called, like neural pathways, I think they're called, form in the brain. They give it particular habits and particular ways of thinking about life and about itself. And it gets told by society that it's doing well when it gets pleasure, and it's doing badly when it gets pain. And it's taught to strive for pleasure and avoid pain. But none of this is conscious. It's all unconscious conditioning. And the pleasure, what it associates with pleasure, is something that it's been taught and a genetic impulse. And the same with pain. And by the time it's 20, it already is pretty solid. And I would suggest, even though there's fun and excitement, that by the age of 20 there's also a sense of tightness and fear and agitation, because it's stressful, everything that it's been told it is. It can also be really super exciting. It's like it's on a mission to do something, but it's also really restricting, and it's also untrue. But it feels so true because that's the thoughts that come up in the brain, so that's the way that the person thinks and sees the world, so that feels like the reality. And every thought comes with a feeling. So if it thinks it likes something, it comes with a feeling of like. So it's not seen as untrue. I remember when I was younger, my mum was a governor for the NHS for this carers meeting, and she invited me to do a talk at the carers meeting on mindfulness. And I know about mindfulness because I was a practicing Buddhist, and maybe I'd implied to her that's what I taught, because it was something that she knew about and something that she sort of understood. So she invited me to do this talk, and I wanted to try for her to give this talk, and it was a disaster because I went in giving the talk forgetting that people didn't realize they thought. Now they realize they think in the sense of that they think and they do maths, or they think how to do their tax returns, or they think how to sew a dress, but they didn't realize they thought in the sense of their projections and ideas about the world. It just felt like reality for them. Because I got into this subject so young, I couldn't remember what that was to really believe that what I thought was reality. And they couldn't recognize that it didn't make sense to them that their anger towards the NHS or their discomfort and their ideas about what the NHS had done to them — the NHS is the government-run health system — they didn't realize that were thoughts and projections happening in their brain. They thought it was reality. They just thought that's the way it is. And to them, when I tried to say that that's a thought, that's not necessarily reality, that's not necessarily fact, it was so abstract to them. What it did was it evoked immense anger. I was stood in front of like 40 carers, I think, at this carers meeting, and they're carers of people, of children or relatives that have mental health problems, so it's very stressful for them. And then I was trying to explain their projections, their anger towards the NHS was thoughts, and I was trying to sort of show to them to let that go and sort of be in the present moment and just see it as a thought that's passing through. And they just got more and more angry. It was and I couldn't work out why they were getting so angry with me. And then my friend explained to me, who has also come to the talk, Lisa, they don't know they're thinking. And I was suddenly like, I'd forgotten what that was, to be totally identified with thought, to not even notice that you're thinking, and to think that your view is reality. Like, it was really a good lesson for me as a speaker. And maybe there's some people out there that don't realize that everything they see in this world, everything they experience, is a projection of their brain and not reality. Everything. And freedom is seeing that and the sort of letting go of that, even though that happens, and seeing what is reality is this alive presence in which all of that comes and goes in, and that everything that comes and goes isn't real, and everything that comes and goes is never going to give you what you're looking for. What you're actually looking for in this life, that freedom, that peace, that happiness that you're looking for, is beyond anything that comes and goes. So your feelings come and go, your thoughts come and go, your ideas come and go, your relatives come and go, people come and go, environments come and go, money, home, pains, emotions. So when I'm talking about the peace and the happiness that you're looking for, it's not actually a feeling, because that comes and goes, but there is this live presence which is totally home. But in order for that to be recognized, there has to be a collapsing of this energy, which a lot of people call a sense of self, which is attaching itself to form and believes that it is somebody experiencing this life, and it will one day achieve something in life. You'll one day get somewhere. And this can be really terrifying, this message, because who you are is a mystery. And the separate self that attaches itself kind of attaches itself to something it knows, an idea, and to question that can bring up a lot of fear. Because who looks out of your eyes now? Who's looking at me? Who's hearing me? The separate self, the thinking, believes that I'm outside of you. But when you come back to the direct experience, there is no inside or outside. There is nothing that's experiencing everything. There is simply everything, which is nothing. And if you like the word consciousness, because I speak about non-duality and most people speak about consciousness, then you could say all there is perception. There isn't subject, object, there is perception, which is all things. The perception, the consciousness is in all things.